Hey, week 8 of my at-home Camino. Today I'm walking in a really fancy neighborhood. See? Gated community. I don't live in this neighborhood, but I do live nearby, and I like walking here because the streets are really wide. It's really leafy and quiet. So on a warm day like today, I can get a lot of shade. It's interesting though, because this particular neighborhood is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the United States. And nowhere on the Camino are you going to walk through a neighborhood like this one. Most of the communities on the northern part of Spain are just small. There are some bigger cities, but most of the little towns are just small farming communities. You're more likely to see cows than a bunch of houses with gates and fancy cars and that kind of thing. And those towns really do rely on the Camino for an important part of their economy. Just to illustrate how important this has become to them, the Camino used to get, 25 to 50,000 people a year on it. But a couple of cultural phenomenon coincided and made the Camino, particularly the Frances Trail, much more popular. The first of those was a book by Hope Kerkeling. He's a comedic German author, and he wrote a book called I'm Off Then. He took off to the Camino in search of better health and finding himself, and he was overweight. His pack was overpacked, and he struggled mightily along the Camino like a lot of people do, but in the end it worked its magic on him, and he wrote an account of all of the follies that he experienced while he was walking on the Camino, which was really funny. That was I think in 2001. And then in 2010 a movie came out called The Way. It was starred Martin Sheen, and in the story Sheen's son had gone off to do the Frances Trail and died shortly after starting. So in an effort to sort of face his grief and try to understand what happened, he took his son's backpack and he decided to do the trail himself. And he hooked up with a merry band of what you call Camino family on the trail, strangers he never knew before, but who each were carrying some baggage of their own, and they befriended and supported one another along the trail. That came out in 2010, and I watched that movie while I was recovering from toe surgery. I already knew I wanted to do the Camino, but watching that movie really helped me stay on point when I was doing my physical therapy after my foot surgery. So I have a very clear sort of memory of wanting to feeling urgency to do the Camino after watching that movie. So after those two cultural phenomena and a lot of word of mouth started happening, activity on this Frances Trail totally spiked. Sorry, I'm looking sideways while I'm talking because I need to make sure I stay on the right road. The activity on the trail really spiked from 150 to 200,000 a year. And in 2019, there were 347,000 people who registered at the cathedral office in Santiago to receive what's called their Compostela. 347,000 people. So if you think about all those people walking through those small towns all along the Camino, spending their €8 a night to stay in a hostel, spending their €2 for breakfast, spending their €10 for dinner. Doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it really adds up. And in addition to the agriculture, that Camino income has been a real lifeline for a lot of those towns along the trail. And unfortunately, they're not getting that income right now because the Camino is still closed. But hopefully, when things open back up, whenever it's appropriate to do so, I dearly hope that those little towns survive. Because I saw a lot of friendly faces in those towns, and they definitely deserve to keep their economies together. So that's today's story from the trail. Buen Camino. So just now, while I was blahing about my toe and Martin Sheen, I actually walked into a cross street. Fortunately, there wasn't any traffic, which is why I like this neighborhood, but I think I need to pay more attention.